This is your lair. You should be living on the airbase with the rest of us, but instead your lair is in civilian territory. You in Federation military. At least there's a community board. Community board on the table. You won't be able to send Essen mail. You can't talk. At least I don't have to listen to any complaints. Huh. Maybe mute is good. I can send you on secret missions and not worry about information leaks. You fly missions! The political situation is turning ugly, but your arrival is going to shift the balance of power in our favor. Tomorrow, free day. I need to see what has happened in my absence before I send you out on a mission. Me, send you Essen mail. In the meantime, you can meet your neighbors. Too bad you can't introduce yourself.
Welcome to Dragon Alley. It's good to have the lair occupied again. I'm Wind. As an astrologician, it was my job to predict Essen storms. I looked at the sky only long enough to take readings and do my job. Now, I gaze at the stars for pleasure. If you see a borealis, conditions are ripe for an Essen storm. Everyone calls it borealis, but the full term is aurora borealis. Our forebears looked up and named the light show Colorful Wind. In ancient times, boreas meant wind. There can be a borealis without an Essen storm, but not an Essen storm without a borealis. A strong borealis can interfere with Essen mail delivery, but it won't work as an excuse when you've sent something you wish you hadn't. It was a particularly severe Essen storm that blew the Federation airship Essen Pride across two alliances and crashed it against Sidholm. The storm wasn't as bad here. Our airvacs were still turned on and absorbing soul seeds. I've often thought the airvacs were partially to blame for the crash. Being an astrologician was a highly stressful job. Not only was I in charge of celestial navigation, but the crew relied on me to predict Essen storms. Very few airships survive being caught in the air by an Essen storm. Even though we are anchored to the mountain, Sidholm is drifting slightly with the wind. If I had a sextant, I would measure the drift. Unfortunately, my old sextant belonged to the airship, and they kept it when I retired. The shapes made by the light in a borealis can tell you what phase it is in. A borealis starts with a diffused phase, like a cloud. Then it forms streams and curtains of light. A pulsing phase comes next. It will pulse and move faster and faster until it is dancing across the sky. When the pulsations eventually fade, the whole cycle may start all over again. Airships float higher when they have a plentiful supply of soul seeds. Normally that's a good thing, but in an Essen storm, An airship can float so high the crew can't breathe.
Hi, are you the new Dragon Rider? Welcome to Dragon Alley. I'm Marietta and I teach the night school. I'm working almost every night. Why don't you come up and watch me sometime? I didn't mean that the way that it sounded. I promise I'm not such an Essen head when I'm teaching. When I'm teaching, I know what to say. Listen, do you have an EPAL? An Essen-powered audio listener? I know the layer was picked clean. Well, let's just say that the last Dragon Rider had more possessions than there are now. Anyway, if you have an EPAL, I also run the Dragon Alley lending library. Everyone on a floating city knows you can't cook using a recipe from a lowlander. The recipe just won't work right. Custards don't thicken properly, baked egg dishes collapse, nothing works quite right. You have to listen to a recipe from another Highlander, and our own recipes won't work for lowlanders. They can listen to our directions all they want, but if they follow them, they just get a mess. No one knows why. I wonder if it's the same for Maja and other alchemists. Lowlanders who come to Sidholm get sunburned a lot. I guess because we're closer to the sun. Do you Dragon Riders get even more sunburn than we do when you fly higher than the city? Father named my brother Fang Shan after one of Sidholm's first Council of Nine, like he did me. Fang Shan was a pirate before he was a council member, just like Marietta. I always thought Father named us after famous council members. Now I'm wondering if he named us after famous pirates who just happened to be council members. I asked Aviv if she knew. She raised us after our parents died, but she didn't. Father named me Marietta after one of Sidholm's first Council of Nine. When I was a kid, I imagined Marietta as a classy lady, like Councilwoman Serena. Later I found out Marietta wasn't a noble woman at all. Before Ravenhair conquered Sidholm and installed the ruling council, Marietta was one of the most bloodthirsty pirates in the skies. Why would Mother and Father name me after a pirate? Too bad they're dead and I can't ask them. Have you ever wondered if there are dragons in the sea who fly through the water instead of the air? I wonder about the sea a lot. It sounds really scary to me. Who knows what's in there? There was this audio cube one of the ferrymen had, and it said there were all sorts of strange things living in the ocean. Like snails that live in the water with fancy shells that grow super large. It'd be neat to see one of those seashells. The audio cubes are over there. I heard that lowlanders drink about half the water we do, but when they come up here they get headaches until they drink more water. Isn't that strange? And you can tell an outlander because their lips bleed and their hands crack. They usually adjust after a while though. I used to think all lowlanders had trouble breathing, but one of them told me lowland healers tell people with breathing trouble to come here. It seems kind of funny to me. Air is air, why would they breathe any different here? But a lot of them do. Only they don't all breathe easier. Some of them find it even harder to breathe. Someday, one of those healers is going to have some trouble breathing and move here, and then I'll ask. Have you ever seen the ocean? Is it true that the surface moves around a lot, even when it's not raining to disturb it? Is it constantly foggy when you get close? We get a lot of mist in the rain collection areas, and if you go over to the laundry district, it always seems foggier there. I bet you can't actually see the ocean. I bet people just know it's there because of a constant fog, huh? I was reading a book of old tales the other day and came across a story about Tristan, the first dragon rider. You know the thing I don't get? How did he know there was a clutch of dragon eggs in that old volcano? It's a little hard to believe that he just happened to stumble upon them just as they were hatching. I may be young, but I'm not that gullible.